Hey everyone, welcome to section 4, midway section of the course, and definitely the most in-depth section yet. We'll be working together to programmatically create pages, allowing us to do away with the nasty hard-coded content that we currently have in our app. There's a lot to do, so let's get started. In this first video, we'll be making our first post Markdown file. To kick things off, we're going to start by installing 3 plugins. So go ahead and pause the video to type in what you see here. You can see that we've got the first plugin is Gatsby Remark Prism.js. And then we have Prism.js, which is just a dependency that's needed for this first plugin. Then we have Gatsby Remark Smarty Pants. And then finally, Gatsby Remark Copy Linked File. So once you are installing those, I'll go ahead and explain what each of them does. The Prism.js plugin will add syntax highlights to your Markdown files. The Smarty Pants plugin, as defined in the Gatsby docs, replaces dumb punctuation marks. And then the last plugin we installed, Copy Linked Files, will copy the Markdown files into your public directory. All right, now let's go update our config. All right, so here I am in the Gatsby config file, and I've already added those 3 plugins. So as you can see here, the plugins we just installed, sorry, they're a little bit hard to see on my screen, just my formatting's made them horizontal there. So we've got Gatsby Remark Prism.js, Smarty Pants, and Remark Copy Linked Files. They all go inside of the Gatsby Transformer Remark option. So you would currently have options with some open curly braces. So you just want to copy in plugins, and then you want to add some open square brackets, and then type in the name of those 3 plugins. All right, so here I am in my config file. Now there's 2 things I want to note here. The first is that all 3 plugins we just installed are dependencies of Gatsby Transformer Remark. So you would have options with nothing in there currently, so you just need to add what you see in this block here. If you remember, our Transformer plugins are what allow us to actually use data that source plugins have retrieved. So all 3 of these plugins you just add something a little extra to the Transformer plugin and what we can do with that data. The second thing I want to note is that I'll be setting each of these plugins up, as you can see, with their most basic configuration. If you were actually to go and look at the Gatsby docs, you would notice that each of these has additional configuration that you can add. So feel free to have a look at the docs and see if there's anything else that you would like to add to these that would be suitable for your application. Okay, once you've added those, let's go over and check out our content directory. If you remember in the last section, I said that I would write a post to help you set up a tag manager account. Well, I did exactly that. So let's go check out the post directory. So in the last video, we had just an example MD file in there. Well, that is now gone. And instead, in its place, we have 2 directories. So I've got 2 posts. They both just got an index MD file in them. It's up to you how you would like to structure your posts. This is just how I like to structure it. So any assets that go with the post can go inside the directory. So currently there's 2 posts here. I create the tag manager account. So that's the one I mentioned in the last section where I said you can go ahead and read that post to learn how to set up your tag manager account and to get that tag manager ID so you can fill in what would be an empty space for you here. And then the filter, the Google Analytics post, if you would like to read that, tells you how to filter out your IP address so that way when you're doing testing on your site, you're not affecting your data that you're collecting. So you can go ahead if you would like to and pause and read these now. Alternatively, you could wait until the beginning of section 6 when there'll be some images included and make it a lot easier to read. Or again, alternatively, you could always check out my production site, RochelleRathbone.com. By the time you watch these videos, these will be up and live on my site for easier viewing. All right, now, before we actually take a look inside these files, I also want to quickly mention that while you're absolutely welcome to take this app and do with it as you will when the course is over, the posts obviously belong to me. So just make sure that when you deploy this site in section 7, that you have removed these posts and you've added some content of your own. Okay, so let's have a look at the Markdown file. So we're looking down the bottom here. There's nothing too significant going on. We've just got some paragraphs of text here, some breaks, just some Markdown syntax to make these headings darker, some bold text. We can see the colors. The reason why this is highlighted the way it is because of one of the plugins that we installed. Now, the most important thing to note up here is the content we have at the top here. And this is something that we're going to need when we pull in content from our Markdown files to create our pages programmatically. And this is called our front matter content. Now, I've got several fields in here. I've got title, subtitle, description, and then the date. Obviously, you can add additional fields, you can remove those fields, whatever you feel is necessary to include on your app. For example, if you're working on the site with another person, you won't be the only author, maybe an author field would be something that you would like to add. Okay, so just as a quick silly practice, let's create a new folder and let's call it My First Post. So this could be where you write your first Markdown post to include. All right, and then here we just want to go new file, index.md. Okay, and then in here, just going to add some content. So go ahead, make your first post. You could do something simple like this. If you've actually got a post you've already written, you could copy the content over, or you could have a go at writing your first post if that's where you're at. Just make sure that you include these in the front matter content at the top, so that way when we walk through programmatically pulling that data in, nothing breaks for you. And then just make sure you've got at least a little bit of text there. You don't need a whole lot.